we will lose the California that so many people have known and loved since the birth of this country. And when I say the birth of this country, I mean this country as a whole, for the states that we have now. When since California was since California became California, we're going to lose that if we're not careful. And that's kind of where I stop, like where I'm at. I move on from where I'm at in the conversation to the next topic, because that's about as far as I can take it. It's as much as I know. And I pass the baton off to somebody who knows more than I do. But, someone had to start the conversation.
I'll
and
be
today,
in
that
soon.
was me.
I'll just wake up.
Henny says, have you heard of Slab City? What's Slab City? I'm not going to Slab City. I'm staying in Hollywood because I'm a Hollywood resident. But what is Slab City and where is that at? Henny, thanks for hearts. DJ, thanks for the hearts. Who is the world stage? No, the world stage isn't a who. The world stage is a what. So, think of the WHO, the World Health Organization. You have the United Nations, things like that. People like that, okay, so here in America, we say we don't play, right? We're not joking. We're serious about our country. And that's true. So the United Nations is really, really an organization that you don't mess with, because there's not playing, and then there's being so serious that you're willing to change the game just to stay in control. And the world stage, in the proverbial sense, they change they're game changers. They don't just change who's winning in the game. They will change the rules of the game to continue winning and to stay in control. So unless we want the rules of the game to change in such a fashion where we have to learn a new set of skills just to maintain control in our country, we should exemplify the skills we already have. Clean up the streets of Los Angeles, because we already know how to do that, and then not have to worry about the world stage trying to change the rules to force us submit to their control. That's my viewpoint. If you like or love America the way it is, then put in the easy work before we're forced to put in the hard work. Think smarter, work harder. Don't just work smarter instead of harder. Think smarter, work smarter, and work harder. And then we won't have some foreign power trying to tell us how to live our lives. That is my stance. There will come a day where the world stage does tell us how to live. It doesn't have to be today. It doesn't have to be in 4 years or 10 years or 20 years. Will it be? God only knows. But I could tell you that as a citizen in California, I'm going to do everything I could to keep California the way it is, because I love where I live and how I get to live because of where I live. And I would hate to see, no matter what money I make, no matter what success I gain or maintain, I would hate to see, now specifically for me, Hollywood change to the point where you can't live the way that you're able to live here, because there's a lot of states that you really can't do what you want. And here in California, and specifically I would say in Hollywood, you have a lot of wiggle room to live the way that you want. People are very lenient. People are very cool. But if we start getting demands on us the way that a lot of states in this country have demands on them from the world stage, we're not really going to have those freedoms. We're not going to be able to just live the way we want. People, oh, it's a clean, pristine world. It's so beautiful. Yeah, it will be. And then the generation after us or the one after that, they're gonna succumb to the society and the way of life, and they're not gonna know any different. But those of us who have gotten to live a free life, those of us who have gotten to enjoy our freedoms and our liberties, are going to understand the difference between this new society that is so much more in control of our choices than we realize, and the society that our country once had. I've gotten the opportunity to live a very free life. I really have. And to not be succumbing to either psychological or physical control from the establishment for the most part. Now, I am not anti-establishment in the slightest. I'm pro-freedom, not anti-government. And there is a difference. So anti-government, people who are anti-government, they're terrorists. I'm sorry to tell you, but here in America, that's considered a terrorist. To be pro-freedom is to proactively support the ability to make your own choices, not to say you have to live this way and you can't live that way, which when you are anti-government, you are not necessarily pro-freedom, because to be anti-government is to say, I don't agree with or support your way of life. I'm saying that being pro-freedom, I support your ability, and I invest my time and energy in the exemplification and the pronunciation of properly communicating the growth and forwarding of your freedom. I want you to be able to be free in such a fashion that you can live how you want. And there's a lot of people who don't agree with that because they enjoy not having to make choices. They enjoy not having to feel responsible for their choices, when the reality is, regardless, you're responsible for your choices, because you can either choose to make a choice or you can choose to let another person make your choice for you. And no matter how things look, whether it looks like you're making a choice or it doesn't, you still made a choice. You have to live with that, for better or for worse, consequences or no consequences. And I'm telling you, based on my own personal standpoint, this is just my personal standpoint in life, I would rather be in control of my choice and know what choice I made and be as fully aware of my choice as possible, as opposed to having another person, dictate the majority of what choice was made and only have me be involved in a certain portion of that choice. That way I can, at least on an interior basis, take accountability for my actions, process the experience, and stay in control of my own life and stay as self-aware as possible. Some people don't want to do that, and that's fine. And that's the eternal struggle, But that brings us back to the main topic, is what I want to do with my freedom, what I want to do with the gift that this country has given me, being America, being a part of the American people. I have the gift of freedom and liberty. And with that freedom and liberty, I want to see our country continue to be able to we could make our own choices. And in my opinion, we're going to have to clean up the streets of Los Angeles to make sure that the tourists that come in see the clean streets and they pass on through.
Why does he think he's going to clean up the streets?
And then they move on with their day, and they don't try to force us to change our way of life, which, whether you agree with or not, is a very stark possibility. It is something they could do if we are not careful with how we treat Los Angeles from now until after the Olympics. We have to clean things up to make sure
with the Olympics
that we set a good example and leave a good impression on the people that visit our county. Because it might seem like we're just one little place, but how people feel about this one little place when they come through Los Angeles could change the way that we live for the rest of our lives.
Devs, how you doing?
And I might seem scared or worried or nervous about it, but that's because I was raised to be smart enough to recognize the impact of a decision and how long-term that decision could make a difference.
Wagyu nachos.
One decision could change the rest of our lives. And for some people, that decision could be the difference between how they live now and how they may end up getting to live the rest of their lives till the day they pass on. Like I said, how we choose to treat Los Angeles and whether or not we decide to clean things up is going to be the difference between living the way we love to live or being forced to change the way we live for the next 50 to 60 years, at minimum.
I like how he keeps saying we and shit. So, like, the reason I say he's a Nacho scammer, he did a chargeback, or he disputed the charge for the $70 nachos. So he's scamming the restaurant because he feels like he shouldn't have had to pay that $70 for the nachos. Like he has buyer's regret, I guess. So you know, that's cool. And he also, this is what I mean by city planner. He's like, oh, we got to clean up Los Angeles for the Olympics. So that's what James's thing is today. He's also, it's birthday 2. That's what the stream is titled.
Olympics come through. A lot of us will lose our ability to enjoy the safety net of wiggle room that we get in this country because the world stage will become far more strict on us if we don't clean things up, at least for the Olympics, right? Now, it's no different than when you have someone visit your house or you have a friend over or something, right? What do? You clean things up, you make it nice and, nice and clean for when they come over. And the moment they leave, you drop your pants on the floor and you go, and take a nap. Or you're sitting, you just go and watch TV and you throw your granola bar wrapper on the floor. It's like we need to clean up at least for when the Olympics come through because we're gonna have a lot of visitors. It's like throwing a party. You make the house nice and clean for the party, and then when people leave, you can go back to the way that you like to live, whether you are clean or you're not. But as of right now, I'm willing to say like we need to clean things up to make sure we're ready for when we do get thousands upon thousands of visitors.
It's 4 years, James. 4 years from now.
I'll give you an example. So when I first went into the bathroom a couple of days ago, over at that porta potty by the Hollywood Partnership, well, you guys heard and you remember it was pretty rough. Now this morning I went in there. Well, I'll tell you what they did. They got a little vindictive. They got a little passive aggressive, and they said, "All right, we'll keep it clean, but we're going to damage our community and try to force people to live a certain way by refusing to put toilet paper in the bathroom." Or maybe someone stole it. I doubt it. But one thing I will tell you is the community of, within the community of the people that do often use a restroom, I mean, it's a pretty rare occasion where someone actually takes stuff from the bathroom. It doesn't really happen.
The community uses the restroom.
The bathroom had very little toilet paper. And so for the people that would rather invest their time in taking a whole bunch of toilet paper or getting rid of it or stealing it or whatever, instead of something productive, I don't have time for that, and I got no problem with ripping somebody like that out of our society. Because the fact of the matter is, we got people that we care about that care about us, and we're not going to have you come around and do your little job and make things look terrible for us, and then you get to leave to run back to your country, or you get to leave to run back to your hole, wherever it might be. Here in America, we look out for our own, and if you're making it harder for us to look out for our own, or you're one of our own and you're betraying us from that, we're not really for it.
James, there was no toilet paper in the porta potty. This isn't a big conspiracy. I thought he was going to say that someone spray painted "fuck James Saroka" in the washroom being passive aggressive, but no, there's just no toilet paper, and he thinks it's a big fucking thing against him somehow.
Because it's principle, and it tells me who's paying attention, who's not, who's doing stuff, and who's not. And so what I'm telling you is, for our lawmakers out there and the people that are, more involved in the community and the bigger decisions that are made, if you're one of those people that's going to refuse to put toilet paper in the bathroom because you didn't get what you want or something to that effect, just take a break for 5 minutes and work together with us, at least until the Olympics pass, because I get the passive aggressivism. I get your desire to help in that way. But if we refuse to conform for the world stage, at least long enough for our visitors to leave, we will end up having to regret that decision for the rest of our lives. And the person who has the freedom and the wiggle room to not put in the toilet paper in the bathroom, that you have the freedom to not do your job for a day, you're going to be the person that loses their job just because you had one bad day. And nobody likes a society where you cannot be free, at least when you're an American.
James is going to say he's owed so much for cleaning up the city for the Olympics, and that'll be the new reason why he doesn't need to work and everyone owes him everything. This guy. Oh, is he going back in the washroom now?
Okay. All right. So yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, if you're the type of person who, you have your way of teaching people, I get that. I really do.
So is it safe to say that James is walking around with an unwiped ass today? I think that'd be a pretty safe assumption, right?
Could impose some pretty heavy stuff on us. They have their way of operating, and we have to, as Americans, adapt into that just long enough for the Olympics so that we look good for the Olympics. And then whatever's after that is after that. But if we do it just long enough, we may end up with funding instead of violations. And people will be like, oh, well, they don't no, they don't violate you. They do a whole bunch of passive aggressive stuff that you're not even ready for. And then life is harder for everybody for a short time. So
Passive aggression is the word for the day.
But you know what? I don't like having to deal with penalties to the level where I'm smart enough just to comply when necessary. You got to know when your adversary or your higher up is bigger than you. Sometimes you can take their job. Sometimes you just got to do what you're told, So yeah, that's what I'm going to say about it, and that's all I got to say. Is the world stage has a very particular way of doing things. And unless we want to end up with a whole bunch of penalties, we should just do what we're supposed to do just long enough. And then when everybody leaves, we can go back to our own way of life. But we should, in respect to our own country and the way that we do things, do what we're told just long enough to set a good example for the world stage. And we got about 3.5 years to prepare for that. It doesn't mean that has to be your way of life, and it doesn't mean that's what you have to do long term. But, we have to be ready for it. And if you're not ready for it, I guarantee you someone else will end up taking your job. I mean, me personally, I still have the job I have in society because I'm willing to adapt into the role necessary to get the job done. But if you're closed-minded and you're not willing to shift and do what's necessary, society will replace you. And that's the truth. It's a hard truth, but it's the truth.
I was just about to say he can't even plan a week in advance. He can't hold down a job, but he's planning 4 years in advance for the Olympics. What job does he have? He doesn't have a job.
To make sure that the job gets done. It's not about me. It's about everybody. It's about you when you go home. But when you go to work, it ain't about you. You get paid to make it not about you. That's why that's one of the main reasons you get paid. You get paid to make it about the next guy or the next girl or the next person, whoever it might be. And the same deal is in regular society when it comes to dealing with the world stage. If you're someone who lives in a smaller world in your mind, in America is like the biggest thing you could think of, or even if Hollywood. Like I live in Hollywood, if Hollywood is the biggest thing you can think of, you got to shift your mindset and say, okay, I might not understand why I should just do what I'm told long enough to get through the Olympics. But if you do, you thank yourself later, because being a citizen in this country, part of your role in society is to serve the public. You don't have to do that at large, but in some way, shape, or form, there is an expectation when the government is doing far more for you than you realize that you've got to shift just long enough. And well, I don't like that. Well, there's plenty of other you can go live in a third world country if you like to, or you can live in a third world way
send it to him.
In this country.
Really gotta grab the phone,
and then
I guess.
You can let everybody know how cool you are.
Sure I'm recording.
But if you don't like being homeless and you don't like having problems, then just do what you're told long enough to look good. And then whenever they leave our country and go back to where they're from, we left a good impression, and they leave us with a whole bunch of tourist money, and our lives are better for much longer, and we deal with a lot less problems. So we can either do what we're told and, earn a whole lot extra for our country and be left with a better impression and get a whole bunch of people moving back in here that we want, or we can end up getting penalized. And that really is so much more up to us than people are willing to admit. If you end up with a president that you don't like, that doesn't mean that you can't still do the right thing to make sure that at large our country continues to go and prosper in the way that it's supposed to and the way that we need it to. So, for me, I don't have a side. I got positive and negatives on both angles. No matter who gets elected, there's good and bad about both of them. That's my viewpoint. I could tell you that as an American, no matter what happens, no matter who wins, I am still going to stand by my belief that the best thing to do is to be prepared for the Olympics. That's the biggest thing for me right now. As an American citizen, my biggest concern is making sure, in whatever ways that I can, that Los Angeles is prepared, or at least, I mean, for me personally, or at least.
What happened, James? Why did he freeze? He shouldn't have froze. I mean, he's not frozen on the other fucking recording.
For it. And when no, I'm sorry, yeah, excuse me, got together in that.
I don't even think he's Wi-Fi hopping. I think
guys, time to clean up, time to get things ready, and that's what they did. And they started doing it immediately, and they spent 4 years getting ready. We aren't doing that.
No data.
I'm not seeing it. And if there's things going on that I'm not seeing, somebody putting it. So I stopped talking out of my rear end. But if it's not happening, something has to happen. And some people say, well, that's the way that we do. We'll just, when people. Maybe.
Fucking hate OBS.
I doubt it. But maybe. What I'm going to say is the sooner we clean up the streets, the better. And when I say clean up the streets, I don't just mean making sure that the homeless are put in temporary housing. I also mean like actually cleaning things up, like actually keeping trash off the streets and upping our game. Like people are lazy and they don't want to up their game. They say, well, this is my lifestyle. Well, good. Enjoy your lifestyle. I'm an American. I agree with your ability to live your own lifestyle. I'm also smart enough to tell you that if you don't buck up, we're going to lose our country. And that's not a joke. And some people are like, that's impossible. I could tell you that every major empire that ever existed in the history of man has always thought that way, especially in the prime of its youth. And in many ways, our country is in the prime of its youth. We're very cocky. We don't believe that our country could ever be taken away from us. And we're obsessed with this idea that we're invincible. And that's very common. Well, I could tell you, based on international affairs, us losing our country is a very real possibility. And the way that we present ourselves during the Olympics
Everyone just picked up
going
2
to make
to
all
3
the difference.
garbages.
So,
The world
it's
would
my
be a better
viewpoint that
place.
it's up to us to make as much of a difference as humanly possible, clean things up the standard, shift your lifestyle just long enough until the foreigners go back home, if that's how you feel, and then you can go back to doing what you're doing. But if you don't decide to shift for the people that are visiting this country during the Olympics, they are going to try to force you to change your lifestyle. And if you don't and you fight back with them, it's going to draw so much attention in your direction that there's a possibility that the world, the people who make decisions on a large basis for the world or try to impose their way of life are going to force you to change your way of life. And I don't know about you, but I'm not about that. And I'm about to turn to international warfare when it could be as easy as just behaving in the way that they prefer just long enough to, please the world in the way that they want until the Olympics are over. I mean, for those of you that are so hard up and so, adamant about your lifestyle, I get it. And I do support your ability to live your way. Just remember, if things go sideways, you're going to actually end up being held accountable for that. And then you're going to be forced to no longer live your lifestyle. They're going to force you to change your lifestyle. And that is not a world that I want to live in. It's not. So like for me, I have moved into a healthier lifestyle for me, right? And I've moved into a lifestyle that's more appropriate for me. But if you remember, when I first moved to Hollywood, I did whatever it took to do the right thing. I still do. It's just now it's time for me to move into my actual lifestyle, right? But when I first moved here, I was willing to live your lifestyle to make sure that at least our city was willing to make the proper changes to continue to make our freedoms and our liberties accessible, right? Well, now I'm asking more of you, more than just me and a couple of people on the street, to be willing to shift your lifestyle just long enough to weed out the scum that are trying to steal our country out from under us and put us in the positions we're supposed to be in to be able to keep our country American. And the biggest problems we're dealing with right now are the far left and the far right. And I mean, that's going to be like right now, our election is essentially a fight between the far left and the far right. And no matter who wins, we're all going to take a big hit. No matter who wins this election, we have all lost. The only way we're going to win as a country, and this is my opinion, the only way we're going to ever get a future that remains American is if we are prepared for this up and coming worldwide event. Because everyone in the world is going to be watching in one way or another. And we have to be ready for it. No matter who wins this election, if we do not focus our energy into the maintenance, growth, and protection of this country over the next half decade, we are, one way or the other, going to lose America.
You're not gonna lose America if the Olympics go bad. James can't even plan 2 days ahead. I really don't think he's grasped how far away 4 years is. That's like the age difference between me and James. So by the time James is my age right now, that's when the Olympics are gonna come. Like it's just wacky to me. This is so wacky to me. He's so concerned about it.
Certain other countries that I'm going to go without mentioning are going to take over. If we focus and clean up the streets and make things look good for the Olympics, we're going to keep our country. But if we don't, you're fucked. You might not want to accept it, but that's the fact. So instead of being so distracted by the election and letting these people who aren't real Americans take over our country, focus and stay in control of America by keeping it American. We are but one country and we are young. We are a very young country. And there are a lot of people that want to take this country from us. It's like a nest egg that we've been building for generations, for hundreds of years. And there are so many people that want to buy our country or take it over. And right now we are at a precipice in international history, long term as within recorded history, to have maintained what we've maintained as long as we've maintained it. And if we want to keep ownership of it, and we want to continue to be in control of our country, we have to keep it American. So this up and coming experience, this event of the Olympics, is going to be pivotal in the survival of our country.
No, it's
as
not.
An American country. And if you don't like it, I get it. Everybody's got their opinion. The fact of the matter is, it's not going to be American if we do not prepare for the Olympics here in Los Angeles. And that you can mark my words on and see how things go. But I can tell you that how the Olympics go and how we decide to behave as a county here in Los Angeles, should we decide
Olympics
to
aren't
clean
even
up
that big.
this county for when the Olympics
Not
come
in the
through,
grand scheme of things
whether
anymore.
it's good
Maybe
or
back in the
whether
day.
it's for better or for worse, if we don't clean up, we're going to lose our country. And I'm going to leave. If we do clean up, then I'm going to stay.
Okay.
But unlike a lot of people, I do love my country as much as I claim, and I will stay to the last minute.
But if you guys don't clean up for the Olympics, I'm out of here. Okay, let's make sure the Olympics is super, super dirty. But yeah, I don't hear of any kids these days wanting to be Olympic anythings. Like, it's all about social media and being in your own fucking little world. I don't hear many people talk about the Olympics. So, yeah, I mean, I don't get the obsession. I don't get James's obsession with the Olympics, just probably because there's a lot of building going on around him right now. He's like, I got to be part of this.
Of international decisions made during the Olympics. Whenever the Olympics come to any country, they do a lot of evaluating of the local economy. They do a lot of decision making. And we are going to be on the world stage, and we still have trash on the streets. We still have people
X Games is
sleeping
good.
on
I
the
like
sidewalk.
the X Games too.
And I'm fine with people sleeping on the
I haven't watched
sidewalk
them
after
forever.
the Olympics because I've slept on the sidewalk. But the fact of the matter is, if we don't clean up and look good for these people who are looking for an excuse to take our country, they will take it. And some people say, well, there's only one way of life, to be American. No, the whole idea of being an American is that you can live any way of life that you want to. So yes, we currently live in a polarizing country, but that doesn't mean we have to be a polarizing community. If we don't actually come together, instead of just talking about coming together, we're not going to have a country to come together in. We're going to be taken over by some other country. We'll probably still be called America, but we're not going to get to do what we want. And
yeah, it's crazy that like no toilet paper in the porta potty sparked all this. It's like, well, we got to better clean up for the Olympics, and if you guys don't, we're gonna lose America. You're gonna lose me, America. I'm gonna leave unless you put fucking toilet paper in the porta potties and fix this damn cesspool before the Olympics. He's really giving him a long time, 4 years. Do you think there'll be fucking toilet paper in the porta potties in 4 years?
statistical probability by the 97th percentile. And with that, we're going to move on. I know I said we're going to move on like 3 times, but I'm very adamant about this, and I'm not going to change my mind about it. I'm going to say as much as I should say and hope that people decide to take action and do something about it. You know, if we spend time silencing people the way that we've been the past decade, we're going to end up with an actual problem here in our country. We don't have a real problem yet. We just think we have a real problem. But I'll tell you what, if we decide to silence the next guy instead of focus on the problem, notice I didn't say focus on the guy talking. I said do something about the problem. Then we're going to end up with a long-term issue that's going to result
I think
in
jail.
the loss of our control in this country.
Jail probably in future James' life.
So what I'm telling you is, now this is my viewpoint, I tell you my opinion. If Trump wins, ignore him and do something about the problem. If Kamala wins, ignore her and do something about the problem. Because if we're not prepared for the Olympics, it doesn't matter who's going to win. The only thing the election is going to predict is who takes over this country, not who runs the country, but who ends up taking over the entire country. So in order to keep this country American, we need to realize that the true focus here, instead of the distraction, the true focus needs to be the Olympics, not the election. Focus on the election, get done what has to get done, elect who you really believe in.
Wouldn't there be, the election is every 4 years, right? So wouldn't there be, wouldn't there be new people in office by the time the fucking Olympics? I don't know. Or they'll be right at the end. Don't focus on the election, guys. Not the thing that's, the most near. We gotta focus on the Olympics. Okay.
In Los Angeles, I'm asking you personally to help me prepare this county in one way or the
I don't
other.
think
from the
felons are allowed
street,
to vote.
whatever your role is. For me, when I first got here, it was actual street action, and now it's pretty much just, advocating. Whatever role I have next, I don't know. But my unofficial role when I got to Hollywood was helping get the streets organized in Hollywood. And now, my role is to be a verbal advocate. I've been socially promoted, or have been graduated to a point where, I talk to the internet about what I got going on, and, they actually, put the information out there. Whatever's next, I don't know. But I'm asking you that if you're someone that lives in Los Angeles and you care about being an American, talk to your audience, talk to your people about the Olympics. Put more focus and energy into bringing people together to put work in to clean up the community, to make sure that we're ready for the Olympics. Whatever our lawmakers do or don't do is one thing. What we choose to do is up to us. If we clean things up for the Olympics, we have a much greater chance of keeping our country. If we don't, one of our up and coming presidents does have the power and the control to take over this country. They do have the ability to take over this country. Do not allow that to happen. No matter what, do not allow either Kamala Harris or Donald Trump to take over this country. Do not fault them should they ever try to. We as a people could only imagine what it's like.
James, you're not going to be president. Like,
such
what is
an
this?
immense amount of power within oneself, and what sort of temptations may come with that, or what sort of choices may come with that. Focus on the issue at hand, continuing to maintain freedom and liberty in our country.
Evicted
The
from the
United States of
streets.
America.
Could you imagine?
And he goes, "How?" Says, "I admire your tenacity, but how are things meant
To
to
be
change?"
homeless
I
anywhere,
didn't
but
say
not
anything
here.
like that at all. You put all those words in my mouth. That was like a very political comment. But the fact of the matter is, you also use the word tenacity because you know I like to use the word tenacity. Like, I get that you guys want to, push me further into that and get my answers. The fact of the matter is, I didn't say that things are meant to change. They may or may not be meant to change. I don't know. I don't have the ability to evaluate that. I don't have what it takes
Why
to
are we
evaluate
talking
that.
about it?
What I do have is a voice.
Right, Maggie?
I'm using it.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm not necessarily trying to produce change. What I'm trying to do is make sure that I put my voice out there for people to be aware of the fact that in one way or the other, things are going to change. If we want less change, we have to do more work. If you want more change in either direction, at this point in our history, we're practically on a seesaw. All you have to do is just lean one way or the other, and you don't have to do much. So, if you don't want things to change, then you got to stand at a center point of the balance. And to do that requires, at this point, at this precipice of our country's history,
Fucking loves that word, precipice.
large, like
a bingo
a
card
deep
for you guys.
understanding of oneself, and at least a general understanding of what's going on in politics in our country right now. And like I said, general, both local, or I should say local, state, national, and international politics. So for the basic understanding I have of local, state, national, and international politics, I can make the accurate submission that we are not going to like our future unless we do clean up Los Angeles County for the Olympics at minimum. That's me asking people who are in a similar position to the one that I'm in society at this point in time, and the people that come from the street, the streets that I was on for a while there. I'm asking you to work together with me after seeing the positive results, after seeing the effective change that was created, and some of the stuff that we got to keep from changing by making the decisions we made on the streets. I'm asking you that if you are involved in either live stream, say social media community, if you're involved in the internet community, I'm asking you if you're willing to take some time out to see if you can't create a little nudge here and there with people who we need to make nudges with to get people more active in cleaning up the streets of Los Angeles just long enough for us to make a good impression to the world, on the world, at large when they do come to visit us here from, for the Olympics. Because they say, you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? Well, in the nice, tidy world of the Olympics, which is like what's going to make the biggest impression on us worldwide, we have a choice to either clean things up or look bad. And so when the Olympics come around, some of our areas here in Los Angeles are going to look pretty bad, because the Olympics are going not just to be clean or pristine. The Olympics, the area where we hold the Olympics, it's going to be perfect. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There isn't going to be a...
That's a good point. They'll clean up LA in parts, and they'll ship the homeless out to the valley or some shit. Maybe that's why he's worried. Like, he likes his little, spot in the Walk of Fame where he thinks he's a special homeless as well. Maybe he thinks, like, all right, well, you can send all the other homeless out there, but I'm going to stay here. Again, this is 4 years away. I don't even think James is not going to be here in 4 years. If he is, I'll be very surprised. But he gets antsy. He gets antsy very easily. And he's usually only in one place for a couple months max before he's like, all right, this is my new plan. So, I don't know. Weird fucking ramblings from James this morning.
But if you're someone who's involved in that or wants to be involved in that, just let me know. Or do it on your own and don't let me know. It's 100% up to you. It's just, remember, we all are all part of one community here in Los Angeles. And unless we do
just like
work
they
together,
shoved Heather into a shelter.
Either physically together
or what was that,
or
Lollapalooza?
separate, on making sure that the streets are cleaned up for when the Olympics come around, we're not going to have the Los Angeles we know and love. We're going to have some new iteration that nobody that is a true American would enjoy.
Still hasn't even been out in LA for a month.
California, instead of just a tourist Hollywood, we need to be ready for the Olympics. Whatever happens after that,
we gotta get in there and
but we gotta be ready for the Olympics.
Redirect course of conversation, because we've been going on about this since I got on. It's been like, when did I get on?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I can't believe I'm talking to you guys
almost
about this
an hour
right now.
ago.
I mean, it is my typical MO, but I actually thought that I was done trying. But you know what happens? Things get good. I get bored. And so then I look for a cause, or I look for something to do. And, we got the Olympics coming, and it's a worthy cause. So that's that. And it's funny, actually, being somebody that does this kind of thing, because my whole life I was kind of like not really into all that. And I was actually kind of against it most of my life. And then all of a sudden I just started finding stuff to do and ways to help. And then you get involved and you just do something about it, You don't really think about it. You're not really trying. You're not looking for credit. You just actually want to see people be able to live and succeed and live, enjoy their own lifestyle. So for the people that are enjoying, if you're enjoying your lifestyle here in California, like I said, just get prepared for the Olympics. And then, whenever most of the world stage leaves our country to go back to where they came from, we can go back to our regular daily way of life. But until then, it is truly best for us to band together and at least fake it if you have to until the Olympics are over. And I would hate for us to have to find out the hard way, the way that we did during COVID. But we wouldn't have a very similar experience unless we're prepared.
What?
So, do I have a problem with you sitting on an ice cooler at the corner? No. I think it's freaking awesome, because this is America and you're allowed to do what you want. Are you going to be allowed to do that later if we're not ready for the Olympics? Nope.
Get to the ice cooler if we're not ready for the Olympics. But welcome, Jamie, Joe, Erica, Graciela, Sunshinery, and Lucy Goosey. Welcome to the members.
And when they leave, we can call everybody and invite everybody back to the party. That's how I see it. Clean up the house for when mom and dad come home, and when they go back to work or go back on vacation, we can start partying again. 4 years goes fast. 4 years goes really fast. Just think about it. A couple of years ago, we tried to get a president, and we didn't get one. and now now we're going to be having quite an interesting election. So
Thank you, Lilo, as well. Love this chat. Thank you, Steve, for bringing us all together. Of course. Thank you guys for joining me on this wacky journey of these goofballs.
A lot of people in there, and I kind of had like a super socio-political rant. I had a socio-political speech like on live stream today. So like I don't think this week is farmers market day for me. I don't think I should be going to the farmers market today to live stream.
No farmers market.
Wait for another day for that. But I chose, I could have chose to keep my mouth shut and then go to the farmers market and do all that and then get a job on a farm. And instead, I chose to move forward. That's exactly what I said I wanted to do. So I guess I'm getting what I want. And that's it. Do I want to go work on a farm? Yes. Do I want to go to the farmer's market and put it on live stream and invite everybody to go to the farmer's market? Yes. But after having this conversation with you guys, I feel like it might be like not fair to everybody who's just like living their private lives and doing their thing,
No one's going to care if you go to the farmer's market. Go to the farmer's market if you want to go to the farmer's market.
I will tell you that at the corner of Ivar and Hollywood, at the corner of Ivar and Hollywood Boulevard, there is a farmer's market every Sunday morning into the afternoon. They're actually running it right now. And from what I remember, they actually do accept EBT. And so you can go and you can get fresh groceries and fresh vegetables and fruit and all types of food at the farmer's market on Ivar and Hollywood Boulevard every single Sunday. I've been to it a few times. It's really nice, and I enjoy it. So next week,
and you can still go, even though you ranted about the Olympics.
I'll see if I can't go and live stream at the farmers market. But we're just gonna keep the camera really close to my face, so I don't want to be putting people on camera for that.
That was abuse, yep.
But I'll go and get some.
I think he's feeling nostalgic.
You guys can see, some of what we got out there. Maybe it'll entice some of you in the area who are watching on the live stream to come out and give us a visit. But if you like me and you support me and you know enough about me, I did grow up on a farm, so I love fresh produce. We used to sell it at the farmer's market, and we have our own farmer's market. So, if you want to support local business, support the local community, and, if you don't like the establishment and you want to keep the establishment from taking over, well, support local business, come down to the farmer's market, and invest in your community. And you can do that even if you got EBT. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I did not know that there's things
there's a
popping
stand
up.
at the middle there where they
OBS is crazy.
Show you what you can get, what you can't get, and whatnot. So. The farmer's market is a totally different topic. But please be very careful when you're challenging me, because there's a lot of people watching the broadcast, and we just talked about super political stuff, and some people are obsessive to the point of aggression. So there's a time and a place to question the broadcaster and challenge the broadcaster, and then there's times where it could legitimately create danger for your personal life. So I don't have an issue with you challenging or questioning me. I just know that some people, when those conversations come up, can either get physically, literally, forwardly aggressive or passive aggressive, and I don't want to see that come in the direction of the audience. So, there's a time and a place for everything. And when we
don't
talk
question
about that
James
kind of thing,
today,
and people
basically.
are charged about it, it's usually best not to say anything that could discredit the broadcaster, because people get pretty protective of people who actually try to do something.
Back to
when everybody's just not sure what to do. And I don't mind being that guy from time to time.
My audience is too loyal to me.
I care about. It's not an egotistical thing. It's something. This topic legitimately matters to me because I love my country, I love my community, and I want to continue to enjoy living in my community the way that I have been. It would be a shame to see things change.
I asked him.
That's how I see it.
It's what does planning for the Olympics have to do with the farmers market?
Decades, we do not need more. That's my viewpoint.
Everyone is nice. We should go. I want to see the farmers market.
But do things need to change just because people didn't feel like doing the work to get them cleaned up? No, but that's what will happen. Is if we don't clean it up ourselves, then people will start to feel like, well, the government is going to tell us what to do, and then they're going to force us to do it. So we might as well do it before they change the rules. That's how I see it. Everyone's nice there. Yes, they are. They're so sweet. I'm just not, like I said, I'm not really in a mental space to go now, just because of the topic that came up and people kept wanting to talk about it and like try and press me and question me instead of
no one was questioning
you know, focusing on having a regular day. People wanted to, you know, invoke my, you know, conversational abilities. So I'm not really in a mental space to go down to the farmer's market. So I'm sorry to the people who would enjoy the farmer's market, the people who would rather have heard me, you know, go off about and talk about the up and coming events and political situation.
I just wanted to see some tomatoes, James. Why you gotta make things so complicated? It's like akin to a freshman worrying about college. Like you haven't even passed grade 9 yet. Let's just get 1 year in before you worry about 4 years in advance. How about that?
Having all this conversation about socio-political agendas and whatnot, I can't just shift gears, like, because I'm not bipolar, so I can't just shift my mindset to go and all of a sudden be like totally calm and just go to the farmer's market and be like, oh yeah, what a regular day. Like we just talked about super serious stuff for a while, so like I'm gonna need some time. Since I'm healthy and stable, I need time to calm down and wind down and shift gears. And I might be able to shift gears by the time I get around the block and go back that way, but I might not be, and I don't know. So as of right, because I'm not there yet. So as of right now, I still need time to wind down. And should I be able to wind down, or you guys allow me, you know, if you're not trying to get me all riled up, then I will calm down by the time I get back there, and I'll be able to show you the farmer's market. But, you know, for me, I try to lead the broadcast. I do not try to control the broadcast or the audience. So I'm not going to tell you what to do or what not to do, what to say to me, what not to say to me. I'm just going to say that your behavior is in part going to affect my emotions, and wherever that leads is going to decide whether we keep walking in circles or we go to the farmer's market. So am I saying
we're
it's
going
up to
to
you?
the farmer's market.
No, it's up to me, because I got the phone in my hand, and if I want to go over there, I'll go over there. But
we got the hat halfway sideways the other night. We'll go to the farmer's market.
Invested the time in focusing on you and having the conversation that we had, but I am not yet emotionally or mentally prepared to just calm down and go do a regular thing.
What's going on, Brian?
It's going to take me
some time. We're having a great Sunday. And, the day of rest. I almost didn't come on today.
Position to go over there.
I was laying in bed. So I was like, fuck James Saroka.
Like I said, I calmed down at a regular pace.
And then people were like, where are you? I was like, I'm coming.
It's not healthy to be able to go. It's actually unhealthy to shift your emotional status that quickly. That's not a healthy thing. That's actually a sign of mental illness, not intelligence or emotional intelligence. It's a sign of mental illness. So my healthy mind needs time to calm down from this conversation, and then I will hopefully be ready to go over to the farmer's market after I've calmed down for a bit.
James is going to save America, but he can't even build up the strength to go to the farmer's market.
Yeah, well, some people want to go. Some people don't care. Some people do. The kind of people that like seeing me go to the farmer's market usually don't comment. The more vocal people are the ones that are part of the socio-political conversation. And sometimes they'll be overpowering and try to speak for the whole public and be like, yeah, I don't think anyone cares. Well, no offense, but you're kind of speaking for people that are, by choice, silent. So, like, when we get over there, I'll probably be a little more quiet, and then we'll go on through. Until then, you know, we're just going to spend this time winding down. And once I've wound down from the situation, I'll probably go over to the farmer's market. You know, I think the reality is, as I see a dichotomistic situation, is temptation is presenting itself. Because over here, we have financial opportunity, and on the other end, I have
He
you know,
does have a
there's
limp now.
right? Like there's, how do you say it? They say rich and
Limp
thank you,
biscuit.
thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Biscuit.
They say rich and famous, right? Well, over at the farmer's market is famous, and over here at church is rich. And so I have to trust the Lord and make a choice as a true Christian not to go to the farmer's market or to go to church. Because I could go to church and I'll probably have a whole bunch of people offer me help and offer me money. Or I could go to the farmer's market and people are going to keep making me more famous. Well, I'm at a point where I'm still learning how to handle the money I got and handle the social attention that I have. So the healthiest decision for me, and the one I'm going to make that I'm informing you of, is that we are just going to keep going around the block. We aren't going to continue talking about anything having to do with
Limp
politics
misfit.
or society for the most part.
I like that. I
But-
really like that.
I am not going to go to the farmer's market or go to church because I'm just not in a place to have anything to do with either those or the people who think that what I'm doing is any of their business when they check the time on their watch.
We should try to get AI to make a rendition of that song, like a cover, with specifics relating to James' life, like toilet paper, the Olympics, fucking the nachos, all this crap, the benches, the fucking benches. Just one of those
Hearts,
days.
Caitlin, thanks for the hearts. William says, can you see the Walk of Fame? What's it like in the morning? It's very nice and quiet. It's calm. Other than me, because I'm like super loud.
And it would be in his accent. It's just one of those days. I do what I do, you know?
So talkative. Some people, they're not used to the quiet. They're used to noise. And so, you know, like the locals don't mind me talking so much. The tourists, you know, they'll come through and they're like, who is this guy? Why doesn't he shut up? But the people that contribute to the local economy,
Probably.
they're, you know, the most to
Probably
the
different.
local economy. They don't really mind me.
He does.
So I will show you the Walk of Fame now.
Every day, the Walk of Fame. Can't even read these people's names. Good morning, Sonny's mama.
Hello.
Oh man. You know who I'm talking to. A whole bunch of you are about to get fired. When you don't have jobs, you know what getting fired means, so you might want to chill out. I do have precedence in favor with your bosses. I'm not going to go over you, but I will if I have to. In all technicality, if we're going to include hierarchy, I'm technically above you regardless. You like what you do, I like what I do. Stop bothering me now. Last chance. All right. See, I think it's admirable to do what you're doing. You should stand up for what you believe in. Thank you. That's what I'm doing. And it's important to do it in an appropriate way where you're not being over the top, right? Because that's when it starts to create problems. I do just enough to make a difference, but not so much that I'm changing people's minds. That's not my social role. That is not my job. Changing what people think is not what I do. And it's not what I'm here for. But with that said, I am going to go relax for a little while. And I will hit you guys up in a little bit. We'll go back live in maybe anywhere from an hour to a couple hours. But I'm going to go take some time to myself. You know, I put out a lot of energy during this past conversation of ours, and I need a break.
Okay.
So I'm going to see you guys later.
A lot of
Thank you
brain
for
power
tuning
went
in.
into
Thank you
this
for
one.
listening. Thank you for following. You got about another minute to follow before I shut down. If you do not follow,
Don't
the
worry,
broadcast
guys.
will
I
go
have-
away. And you will more than likely find me again, but there's always a possibility that you won't. So make sure to hit that follow button. And you can find me on all platforms, even ones that aren't in English. So I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm sure the people you're speaking to in English really want to hear you in another language. Word salad burnout. That's right. Now we just get to look at his face while he wants people to follow him. I'm gonna show you guys the beginning of the stream. Because we got in late. Just wait for him to end this. Maybe he'll get socked in the head or something. You never know. You never can tell with Jimmy O here. Unless this is the fake out to get more beans. He's still at 57 beans. Alright, okay. Okie dokie. Let me end the recording here. Beautiful. And let me just airdrop this video onto the thing. So how are you guys doing? How you guys doing on this Sunday? It's Sunday. It's the day of the Sabbath. That's what John would be saying. That's what John would be telling us. He'd be like, we gotta rest on the Sabbath, even though today's Thursday. What? An hour? No. Okay. So he there's an hour of stuff before I came on. I was literally I was just sleeping. I was sleeping, listening to James in my ear talk about fucking charging back the nachos and planning for the city, this fucking event. So let's airdrop this here. We could take a quick smoke break, unless I'm trying to think if there's anything. Actually, we could do a throwback video. I could show you guys, because I was showing you guys his powder look yesterday. We could show you more of that just from that stream, because when he came back, he disappeared for about, I want to say 2 months. That might have not even have been the time that he disappeared and came back, though. I think that I'm thinking of a different time, actually. But it was still pretty crazy when he came back looking like powder. I was like, what is this look here? What are you up to, Mr. James Saroka? Steve Saroka channel. Okay, let me pop this up. We'll get rid of this. This is live. It's not live anymore. We're gonna keep that up there just in case he goes live again. So this beautiful channel here. It's a beautiful. I don't know, but this is what I'm talking about. So where was it? It was look how scary he is. This was so on July 13th. So he did take a little break back in the day here. He had his hair and his beard and everything, and then about a month later, I don't know where he comes back. Over a month later, because it would have been August 13th, August 26th, and he's fucking looking like this with his noise-canceling headphones, and he's in a place. So he went from homeless to in a place. I guess he was keeping low for a little bit.
Family name.
And he's just like a crazy guy. So we'll just play this until this airdrops. I'm gonna go smoke real quick while I let this play for you for anyone who wants to see James in his powder form. It was a pretty interesting time, I'd say.
Be the juggle master. The balance master. I am a Libra, so balance is very important. Okay. Shout out. Sup, Romel? How you doing? Thanks for coming on. Guys, I don't care what level we get to. I've been dreaming and scheming, all right? And I'm really hoping. And if you guys see me breathe like that, I get really, really, really high levels of anxiety. But it's just become so commonplace for me that I kind of just power right through it and try to pretend like it's not even happening. And it works for me. It's a method that is effective for me personally. So I just keep doing it. I know I need to slow down or whatever, but when I'm eating a healthy, when my life is where I want it, I'll slow down. I promise. You guys have my word. When my life is where I want it, I will slow down.
James, you're missing your eyebrows. That's not a good look. Not a good look. But yeah, I'll be right back. Enjoy James' powder look from the past. By the time I get back, the airdrop will have brought the video over and we can watch the first hour of James's crazy stream from today.
I know I'm good at being satisfied when I need to be. And it's also important to stay awake and aware to the situation. And my situation says that I need to keep working. Working doesn't always mean a job, you know. That's another something I had to get over and move on from, is this feeling of like that I need to be pleasing people that are like not even, you know, that are contributing so minimally to where I'm at. And when people get to that point where they're like telling you what they did for you as opposed to what they're doing for you, big red flag. So for me, I am mostly alone now at this point, which is fine. But I am no longer relying on, I guess you could say, people that were formerly very supportive, who now, for the most part, are hoping to, you know, bank on some interest policy that was never agreed upon in reference to being a part of my life on a personal level. Congrats on the apartment. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. Yeah. This is mostly the work of a lot of really good people that just made sure that I could get a roof over my head and was like off the street. I don't know if you guys saw the hurricane kind of a thing. Very scary. Was also the first earthquake I had ever been in that I'm aware of. I've experienced tornadoes. I've been in the middle of hurricanes. I have, you name a natural disaster. I have probably been there for one of them, except like a tsunami. You guys probably come up with a few more. Thank God for my nihilist and my not antivists. What's the word? My cynics. Those of you in the audience who are my cynics. I have definitely come to appreciate, understand, and learn to recognize that you keep me grounded so that I don't need to be grounded. So thank you, as I actually really come to the fruition of recognition that you have kept me from much more difficult situations and probably death. So thank you. I paint my nails for you. And that's the truth, I really do. Ashley goes, I hear the echo. Does that mean you need furniture? The echo is, it could be the phone. I also have the room. I have doors open. I don't listen. I'm making an effort to find middle ground between fake it till you make it and boo-hoo me, right? So like, it's not boo-hoo me right now. It's real, and not for me. Okay, I had things rough enough where this is living like a king, so it's not boo-hoo me. And on the other end, I don't want to do the fake it till you make it thing and be like, look at me, I'm in this nice big fancy place. I mean, it's big and fancy for me, but God's honest truth, most people would walk in here and be like, sir, you have found a closet. I'd be like, yes, I did. Ash goes, no, it just sounds like an empty room. It's mostly an empty room. I'm not big enough yet to absorb the sound. Studio is great. Thank you. Yeah, I just, as long as we're not putting words in my mouth and recognizing like I'm not making any claims. I'm also trying to like not talk too much about stuff because like on one hand, like I said, as long as I'm not breaking the rules, I really could do whatever I want. Like as long as I'm minding my own business, where I'm at, like what I'm doing and all that, that's my personal private business. You are new in town. Yes, I am. Didn't mean to pry. You're really not prying. Like okay. On that topic, thank you. On the topic of like personal info and whatever and how it affects the people around me. Like I've always been the type of person that's like, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna put myself out there and do what I.
Alright, okay. So, a little bit of context for anyone who's wondering how he got here. So this was during, I think you mentioned this, the hurricane. So there's like a hurricane and an earthquake. This was a place that's like a repurposed hotel, like the one that Heather and Xavier were staying in. And this was the one he also lied and said that his name was Steve. He was a army guy who his wife left. And his house burned down, and he had nothing to his name. He had all his ID burned up in the fire. So I think he was trying to get I think he was legally trying to change his name, but in a nefarious way, not the actual right way, but just make up this person and be like, oh, we don't have you on file, and it's I guess you're just gonna have to make a new ID for me under this fucking fake name with this fake story, and then I'm not James Saroka anymore. I'm this fucking powder looking guy. It didn't work. So, this is also the time that he was going by any name except James Saroka. So, understandable, I guess. Why did this go to the wrong one? Hold on. No. Hold up. Did I airdrop it to the wrong fucking computer? No. You fucking idiot. Oh, it's okay. I just gotta re-airdrop it, that's all. That's really annoying though. Can I just airdrop it from the computer? Will that be faster? Maybe. Hold on. I can't believe I did that. Oh, is it because I have Bluetooth off on this? Yeah. Okay, well that's why I didn't even know. That's why I didn't notice. Shit. Okay, we'll watch James for a little bit longer while I I airdropped it. I have two computers, so the one I record James on and a backup phone and the one that I'm streaming from. So I airdropped it because the first half of the recording I recorded on the phone itself because I was in bed. So I airdropped it to the wrong fucking computer. So we just gotta re-airdrop it and then we'll be good. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. But here, listen to James. This James for just a little bit longer. I apologize.
I could. And if I make decisions that are healthy for me, that are not unhealthy for the next person, this person doesn't feel like keeping up in their own lane, it's not my fault. And it really isn't. In the same token, I have definitely learned, Tammy, thank you for the share. And thank you to those of you that have been following. Thank you. How do I put this? It's I've learned camaraderie. I've really learned teamwork. I've really learned how to work things out with my neighbors and be a part of a community, not just run a community, right? But to be a part of a community it's not always the same thing, right? So I'm not just that snobbish, outcasty type, stickler for the rules guy that you guys know I really was. I was the most non-rebel rebel you would ever meet. And now it's my behavior is in line, but my mindset is look, I support doing what you want because you get one life, and if you don't get to live it, you're gonna have regrets, and regrets are never worth it. They're just not.
He was not doing a cancer thing. He was not doing I have cancer. I'm surprised he didn't. I would have put it past James to do that, but no, he didn't pull a Channing. I wonder why he didn't do that.
Do we need structure in society? We do. I've also learned that there's a lot of people that make excuses for how many rules they have and what kind of rules they have that are unnecessary, right? So, but then vice versa, there's different things that are important, and it's kind of based on the efficacy and capability of the community itself. And so that could be really up in the air depending on where you're at and what's going on.
I was in there as myself back back in this day. Look, Steve. I sent a heart. Not like a money heart, but just like I must have tapped the screen. I guess he didn't. It was in this apartment or hotel or whatever, though, that he, with the first death threat and the Thanos snap happening. I don't even remember why he was so mad at me that day. We were fighting about something. I'll have to see if we can kind of. And In the Rain was playing. I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I'm gonna fucking kill him. This is. I love this song now.
So like where I'm at, for example, we have security, right? And they're pretty strict. I have to admit they're pretty strict. But it's a blessing. Okay. So like it's actually a good thing. I'm the type of guy that says, oh, do whatever you want. But at the same time, it's really nice knowing that like once you get past that gate, there's not anybody past the gate that's not supposed to be past the gate. It's reassuring, you know. So I digress. Any more questions? We have one question. If you're still here, thank you for that question. I'm going to do my best to come live with you as often as I could. Excuse me. I'm also, this is very raw.
Let me see.
You know where I'm at.
Let's see if we can find him eating the raw meat. Remember the raw meat days? The raw meat days. Ba-da-da-da. Where would it have been? It would have been in that apartment thing. Oh yeah, he was talking about like AI and shit. So he had grown some of his hair. This is the big gap too. So he was in this place still, September 10th, but he was getting kicked out, or he was kicking himself out basically, because they found out he was James Saroka, and he didn't like doing chores, but he also doesn't like looking for a job. So they're like, well, now that we know who you are, you have to go look for a job. And he's like, I'm leaving. And then he showed back up like 2 months later, so September, almost to the day too. Like if he had left, I guess he technically left September 11th. Shows up November 11th, so like he disappeared for his whole birthday. Came back eating boogers on college campus and then trying to pick up chicks. And was, like threatening people outside fucking grocery stores and shit. I remember that. But where is him eating the raw meat? It would have been around these times with the sunglasses, I'm pretty sure. If I'm remembering right. This blue tank top thing is where he said he was going to kill me. I'm assuming it's this one? No, he was eating snacks. It would have had to have been though. Hold on. I want to know the context, like why he was so angry that day. Was it this one? Oh god. Maybe it was. We can just search transcripts. It is 3 or 2/3 airdropped right now. This stupid thing. Is there no transcript? Would it not be right there? Okay. There's no fucking transcript.
Just start cooperating with your, the coworkers that are on your level. They just want to find out if I was a defector.
His weird fucking one eyelash. This Clockwork Orange thing. He doesn't even know what a Clockwork Orange is. Here. I really wish there was transcripts for this one. I don't know why there isn't. I've been kicked by the broadcaster. Okay. What was I doing?
I will have full commissary. I'll have 100%. He would thrive in that environment. He's gone. Yep. I wonder what it's like not to be able to make your own content. I wonder what it's like to have to harass people to make money. Like to
Harassment.
literally be so fucking boring and non-existent that you have to attack people to make money.
Digimon is better though. Is attacking James.
I blocked him. He's gone. Don't worry. He'll come back in 14 different ways that he hasn't been, incarcerated for yet. If you catch my drift. Can we go ahead and pull that card now, please? Maybe the timing's wrong. I don't know, but it's really fucking annoying.
I think he means like, killing me. He's been trying to kill me for a while. But just like, no one was giving a fucking shit about James back then, back in these days, Please, I don't think so. I wasn't even making YouTube videos. I mean, I was uploading these like to the archive channel, but I wasn't like making any content on this channel at the time. I think it was just on Twitter, when I had just turned to X, and it's so bad now. I can't even I used to be able to live stream to Twitter as well, and then it took that away. It's like you gotta be a subscriber to Twitter. You gotta pay us money to fucking live stream, and that doesn't make any sense to me at all. Because I'm not monetized on fucking Twitter, so I would be losing audience from the place that makes me money to pay for that. That doesn't make any sense. So I was like, no, I'm not. I just want to stream to Twitter then. Sorry, Twitter. Elon Musk, the fucking idiot over here. Okay, so it's airdrop now. We can get back to the present. But I guess I don't know. I was just being me. That's what happened. And James was getting cocky or something, being like, I've never been to jail. And it's like, oh, I think you were. And he was talking about his ex at the time and shit too. Alright, let's open this. How are we gonna open this? We can open it on anything because it's fucking OBS. OBS. Okay, let's just open it on this thing. Maybe I should put headphones in.
Good morning.
Okay, I'm gonna warn you guys now. This thing right here, first top up reward. I don't know how long this is on screen for. I might have fallen back asleep and woken up and seen this and been like, oh no, and I had to close it. So we might just see this screen for a bit. Does it let me scrub? For I don't know, a good 3 minutes. It's just gonna be this screen. I'm sorry. Well, we can learn about the top-up reward. The lucky wheel. Draw an iPhone with a diamond after recharge. I don't use this app, by the way. I don't condone this app. It's a strange app. Maybe we can just hide it. Just have his little head poking out there. You guys can look at the moon. And this cat. I guess he's waiting for people to come in. I don't want to. Can we skip forward a bit? A little. Okay.
There is. Okay. So where I'm sitting at, I'll tell you right now. This is community improvement time, right? So we got one of them street sign things that you guys could correct me, okay? I'm gonna sound super unintelligent. Don't really care. There's a sign that the California Department of Transportation uses, right? I'll show you real quick. Instead of sitting here describing it. There's one of these things sitting right here. And it has been sitting here for at least.
Wait. I don't. The one time we need to see what he's doing, he's not just showing us his face, and I have this stupid thing in front. I'll see if anyone else is recording it. I'll check. Well, I'll check the Twitter. I'll check Twitter. God damn.
A year and a half, if not more, right? And I have never once seen it used. I don't know what it's there for. I could tell you it's super in the way. From the time that I've sat here, I could tell you, like for the time that I've been here, I could tell you I've seen it be in the way plenty. And something that could definitely go right where that sign is, but like on a sidewalk, right? For the Olympics coming up in about 4 years is.
Oh my god. So we're already. This. I'm sure the sign will be different or moved by the Olympic champs. It's okay.
A bench. We could definitely use a bench, a metro bench, right there, right next to the trash can. And you know what? I actually see there's some sort of bolts. There's like something sticking out of the ground. As it may, I think it was a sign used to be there. But I tell you what, they should really put in a bench for when the Olympics come here. And I'm right there, like literally right there is a perfect spot. Because down this end of the way, there's a bench on the other.
I'm remembering this now. I was laying there and he's like, he wants to move the bench. His favorite bench, he wants to move it a bit. He thinks it's a really great idea. I'm pretty sure at the end of this, he's just like, I don't know if that'll actually happen or not, but it would be really cool if it did. And I was like, what is this? I think this is how we're starting the day. Okay. Good, James.
Other side of the street. Oh, no, there isn't. There isn't even a bench over there. But there's a metro, there's a metro stop. But I would put a bench over here. I know I don't make those calls, but like it makes absolutely no sense that that thing is there. And I feel like having somewhere to sit right there would make sense because a lot of people, one second, a lot of people like to post up on where I'm sitting right now, right? I'm sitting on the wall, right? There's like a concrete type wall that is for the parking lot that where I'm at sitting right now. There's a parking lot and I'm sitting right on the wall, and a perfect spot for a bench would be right there because people come here. You guys see me come and sit here. People come and they sit here all the time, and you're really not going to stop people from sitting on this wall, and there's really nowhere else to sit, right? And so like they're like, well, we don't want people sitting there. Well, I can tell you from the past year and a half that people are coming here either way, and they're either sitting on the ground or sitting on the wall, and to the point where, and I mean, this is saying a lot for me because you guys know, like I'm in support of the whole tourist thing. But the fact of the matter is, I can tell you, locals at least sit here all the time, and that hasn't changed. And people continue to sit here no matter what goes on, no matter what they're told. And sometimes you want to push enforcement more, and sometimes you want to give in. And you guys have seen I've been pretty strict with a lot of stuff, and I'm like, this has to go to.
Oh, Megan Christensen, I do. Whoa, that's a bad art. Hold up. How you do with that?
It has to go, and I that's how I really feel about a lot of it. But here in this spot, I can tell you that people are not changing their mind, no matter what's done or what's going on. People keep sitting here, and in my opinion, your best bet is going to be to get rid of this California Department of Transportation sign.
Oh, I think the thing is there. Look, I got rid of it. Perfect. All right. I don't want to have a Wheel of Fortune up or anything. Open the door to like people be like, he's doing something nefarious. But I'm not. This fills up like a lot less screen size.
Which essentially, I mean, the back is just covered in gang signs and stuff and graffiti. Get rid of that and put a bench there so that people could sit and maybe, at least in my opinion, I mean, I don't know how easy this is. I'm going to sound stupid, but oh well, right? You ask for my input, so I give my input, and it's going to be uneducated input because I'm not a public official or something. But people ask for my opinion because I'm out here so often.
No one's asking for his opinion. Who's going around? Get James Saroka's opinion on this. We need to know where to put more benches.
I would take that metro stop and I would move it from
See, it went from like we're gonna make a new bench to we could just move this one. Let's just move this bench.
Over across the street on whatever the heck, just one block down the boulevard, and I.
Well, you can't really do that though, because if it's a bus stop bench, like the bus is on one side of the street going a certain direction, and if you put the bus just put it on the other side of the street, then like yeah, it doesn't work like that. It'd be a different bus, right? I don't whatever.
Move it over here and put a bench right there, because there's no bench over there to begin with. There's no place for like people to stand under, which there used to be one, and they got rid of that completely, right? I would move that metro stop over here onto the boulevard, because you're gonna have a lot of tourists that are coming, and instead of having them go that extra block or be going up that way, put a bench in here, or put at least move the stop over here somewhere. Put a sign in where this, because they got the trash can there. You can move the trash can to the other side. You can pull up them bolts, and you can put in one of them poles. You put in a light pole over here or something, or at least just put up the sign and move the metro bench over here. I feel like that would make a lot more sense, because like,
I don't know how this devolved into the Olympics. He's city planning for the Olympics, guys.
you have the benches where they're at, and they're going to renovate, however, whatever word you would use, right? They're going to change things up when the Olympics come around. So like, why not put an extra bench in and like move the stop over here, considering people sit here all the time and you never have people over there. But I mean, that's just my viewpoint. Like, since they pulled out the overhead, they took out the canopy. So across the street there was a canopy that people would stand under when the metro bus would come through. But now they just have the sign there, right? Well, it make a lot of sense for them to move that metro sign over here, have the bus stop be over. I don't know how much that would change or how that would work. Just giving my input. People from that arena ask for my input. So
No one from that arena asked for James' input. Nope, no one. Also, he is in a weird outfit. I don't know why I closed the tab. I'm gonna get pulled back up. He was in a. Did we see his fanny pack? Maybe it was when I was like smoking or eating or something. But it is weird. Hold on.
I'll give them my input. And whatever you do with that, let somebody who knows what they're doing do something with it. But that's my personal input, is I would move the bus stop over here.
Okay. Look at this. What is this? Do you remember seeing him in red shorts? This was... I guess we missed it when I had the fucking pink thing up. But this is his new outfit today. He's in super short red shorts. He's got this crazy fanny pack. What kind of fanny pack is this? I'll see if I can get a copy from this person if they didn't just get a screenshot. And then maybe we can see this thing he's like complaining about too, with the graffiti on it and stuff. James Saroka, city planner.
And either put up a canopy or at least put a bench, because you might not want homeless people hanging around. But the fact of the matter is, homeless people have not stopped hanging around here no matter what you do. And it is what it is.
Okay, I got one more for you guys. This is his Bigo pick. Okay, that's it.
I mean, you're not going to change it. So, like, if you're not able to stop them from hanging around here, you might as well put a bench in so that it looks better when people are sitting on the bench instead of sitting on the side. And they say, well, the metro benches are just for the people that are getting on the metro. I get that. But would you rather people sit on the metro bench, or would you rather people be sitting on the ground? It looks a lot better when they're sitting on a metro bench. Also looks like they're waiting for the bus, so it looks like
they're like Mickey Mouse shorts, right? Right. I gotta grab a screenshot of that. I can't just like let that be on the internet. We need
like more people are using the bus, and then more people end up using the bus anyway. Yes, you're very pretty, and that's what I would do. Just I've given my input, and that's where I'm leaving it. So, rant over. That's my my contribution for the day, or for the hour. that's my what I have to offer for the hour. All right, so as you're coming in to say hello, today is my second birthday day. I will be having a birthday day for the next.
Whatever the fuck that means. Why is there so much empty space in this? Weird outfit.
12, next 11 days, just because I like my birthday. And yeah, it is 7 a.m. PST on the West Coast. There's nothing going on at all. And that includes me.
Oh,
Got nothing.
it.
It's a quiet day, very quiet day. I'll probably just like do a lot of live streaming. I'll plug up and charge for a while, give you guys a break from me, and then I'll probably be back. But on the plus side, so very happy about this. So apparently, I guess none of my mail actually showed up, which is like super annoying. But I have an in with DPSS, so I am going to be able to take a stop in and get my stuff and have it all sorted in the same day. And that, my friends, is why you be nice to police and you be nice to the law enforcement, because they know people, and then they can talk with the staff, and without having to cheat or cut in line, instead of somebody cheating you, law enforcement can show up, and then all of a sudden people start doing their jobs and you get your paperwork done. So on Tuesday, I am going to have my stuff regardless. No matter what, I'm going to have my assistance no matter what. So I'm very excited about that. And if I don't, then I get to file a complaint with, I guess, the state or whatever. And yeah, so, and I have a buddy who keeps putting.
So yeah, people were asking like if he gets like a paycheck or a government check right now. He doesn't. He's trying to get it. Like he's trying to get all that sorted out. Apparently he has a ride to go to the place if he doesn't get his mail, which I think yesterday at the last stream we saw, he was like, oh, I didn't get my fucking mail. Unless he just said that. Now, I was gonna grab something else and then I like totally gapped out.
Pushing me. And even with that, like he pushes me to be a little more forward and a little more offensive when it comes to stuff that comes my way, right? Because like now that I'm living in one place and I'm not like moving around or anything, well, I have to be a little more assertive in creating solutions. I can't just like walk away from stuff, right? So like in reference to like that, you guys remember that $70 I spent? Well, guess what? I was able to do a chargeback, and that's what he recommended. He's like, why don't you just
see this evil James Saroka, who also maybe getting a little chubby James. That's or maybe James.
do, or not a chargeback. He's like, why don't you just do a dispute? I'm like, I don't want to do it. And he's like, well, if you don't do it, they're going to do it to you again.
Do what to you? He thinks he got scammed because he agreed to pay $70 for fucking nachos, and then he regretted paying that much for nachos or whatever. But then he also said like it was worth it because his friend had been doing so much for him, and it was the least he could do to hit him back. So what does James do because he feels scammed? He's gonna scam the restaurant now? Like, what is this? Stupid fucking James.
I'm like, all right, I'll try. So I filed a dispute, and I expected it for them to just be like, oh, sorry, we couldn't do anything. Nope. I didn't get the amount back that I was supposed to. I still got scammed, but
he still thinks he got scammed. James, you're the one doing the scam. You could be like, oh shit, that's too much money for nachos. I don't want to pay that. And then you don't order them. But instead you're like, oh yeah, $70 nachos? Buy him. Like, fucking guy.
I got $20 back, and I was like, all right, that's a start. You know, it's a little bit of a motivation. So I got $20 back. I was able to get myself a vape. So, you know, it was nice to actually fight back a little bit and not just get screwed over. And so essentially I'm going to do the same thing with DPSS. If I show up and they aren't willing to give...
I'm going to do the same thing with DPSS. It just doesn't work like that, James. This isn't a service you bought. Like, you can't do a chargeback on DPSS. That's funny. But yeah, if he was on Judge Judy, she'd be like, you ate the steak? You ate all the steak? And then you can't just like take it back now. I've seen Judge Judy say that a lot. She's one of my heroes.
give me my card, then I am going to have to put pressure in that direction. And then that should also expedite the process of getting me into a proper housing situation, as opposed to just where I'm at and how I'm living. I could have it, you know, where things are the way I want them to be. So, all right. Well, my leg's starting to go numb, so I'm going to hop up and we're going to take a walk. First, I'm going to take a look at my butt and see if I got like dirt on it, which I don't. I think I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
I guess we could do it like
Awesome.
this.
So this wall here is, the color's gray, right? The paint's gray. It looks very dirty. It does. I'm sorry, but the wall looks super dirty. But it's like not, at least not on the top. And I tell you what, I think the reason that the top of the wall
So we can't see
is
the
not
cat.
dirty is because a lot of us
I
just
don't
sit
even
on
see
it.
him anymore.
So, you know, put in a bench, move the metro stop and put in a bench. And I think everyone will be a lot happier. I know that's probably like a super annoying move. It probably takes a lot of work. Probably going to take time.
Yes. Can you change your votes? I mean, like, I didn't know that the outfit was so fucking crazy. But this is a crazier outfit than the gray shirt, red hat, and aviators. Like, I didn't know the extent of it, you know?
Time for the bus drivers to realize that the stop moved. But the fact of the matter is we are getting the Olympics here. And once we get the Olympics here, I have a feeling, and I think a lot of people could probably agree with this, a lot's going to change. So when we get the Olympics here in Los Angeles, it's not like they're just going to show up and then leave and things go back to the way they were. Everywhere we have ever had the Olympics, since we began the Olympics, wherever the Olympics were, kind of left a mark and, you know, left us with, you know, like some form of change, some form of growth. And so for us, you know, I mean, we're probably going to end up investing money in improving the metro stops. We're probably going to be investing money into the streets and things of that nature. So, like, I figure.
Things of that nature. He says he loves things of that nature. Gary Vee was saying things of that nature. That's one of Heather's things, too. Has Heather done anything? I always forget about Heather now. There's that phone.
Why not get ahead of the curve? But I really hope, like I said, I hope they decide to move that metro stop across the street over to here so that tourists could use it, put in a bench so that people stop sitting on the wall and sitting on the ground. And maybe that parking lot could repaint that wall because it's so ugly. Like even if you paint it like a matte black, right? Because it does get dirty. The street grime gets up on it. It looks dirty from the side.
Street
but
grime.
like it's still on the Walk of Fame. So
The fuck is street grime?
like we should clean it up, you know? And if there was a way, you know, if there was like you have like private business, right? But you every now and again have the Hollywood Partnership come through and they will wash the street, right? And they'll come through with the power washers and they'll wash the street. Well, there's got to be a way to make some sort of agreement with some of the private businesses, either through like maybe like a discount in your like a decrease in their taxes or something. I don't know how that would work, but so that whenever they're power washed in the ground, maybe they'd be able to power wash like the side of the buildings, you know? Because a lot of these businesses, they don't have the time, the money, the energy to be going out and cleaning the side of the building every day. And so much of the street grime gets up on the side of the buildings and it makes all of us look worse, right?
the big brain thoughts James has on this day. So, okay. Alright. Yeah, get everyone to just watch the side of the buildings.
Because, you know, this is Hollywood and we're on the Walk of Fame. We got 4 years, got 3.5 years left till we got the Olympics here.
Oh
and we got to make sure we look good for when they show up. And so I'm thinking, just my personal opinion, once again, take that input and go with it where you will. I think it would be a very smart idea if we could find a way to
You know that
invest
if they do that now, James is going to be like, see, they used my idea. I'm owed money for that now.
in some sort of deal with local businesses, or unless this already exists, I don't know, but where the sides of the buildings are getting washed or at least squeegeed down like more often, you know, like, and I'm talking about like the local businesses, because you have places like CVS, you have places that cost a little, like the places that are local, that are like higher class financially, they usually, you know, they are pretty good at keeping their buildings clean. Then you got places like CVS where it's some sort of big conglomerate, and they're they're able to, keep their places clean. That's just part of their budget. But then you have some of these local places that people love coming to. I mean, you got lines on lines of people showing up to contribute to the business and to be customers of or clients of, or, they go to see shows, right? And the buildings aren't clean. They're not. The inside is clean, but the side of the building on the street that you see, it's not clean, right? You got people that will be putting graffiti, or people that are scratching in the window, or, just the street grime gets up on it. And there's got to be something that we could do to help out with that. So, like, for example, up at the cafe up the road, like, Capital One obviously has the money to be able to hire someone, bring someone in and put in a work order to get, the scratch off the window. Or
is there lots of scratches on the windows in LA? I don't know. I've never been there.
To have the windows clean, right? But, like, if you have a local business, they might not necessarily be able to afford that, right? And I mean, I could be the guy to go in and be like, hey, I'm willing to clean your windows. But 9 times out of 10, what I've learned nowadays is people are so prideful that they're just like, oh, we already have a guy for that. Or like, oh, we don't need that. Or like, get out of here. What are you doing insulting our business? So I don't really bother. I used to, but now I don't. But if there was some way, that we could get something worked out so that these buildings are staying clean on the outside, the windows and whatnot are clean looking and there ain't no dirt and stuff. That way it looks better for when the Olympics show up. I think that would be really good. Like, you go to a lot of places.
Oh, his James was choking himself one time with this bag around his neck. It probably sounds weird without context. Let me just play a second of the music. Yeah, that's copyrighted. Hold on. Why is it?
That the Olympics are, and that we have the Olympics, and you're not seeing dirt on the street. Like France, when we had the Olympics, you guys saw, if you had gone to the Olympics this past year, I mean, everything was just pristine, right? Well, I could say as a local here in Hollywood, I'd be extremely embarrassed if, for when the Olympics show up here, that I would hate to see the streets being as dirty as they are right now. Like, they're not too bad comparative because it's a city and it is Hollywood and there's a lot of people around. And, we do our best to support the homeless population. And the fact of the matter is, we're not going to get rid of our people just because the Olympics are showing up. That doesn't mean that we can't put the work in to clean things up a little bit. And some people some people be like, well, why don't you do it? Fact of the matter is, it's not my place. It's not my job, right? It's something that if I started doing it, I would get in trouble for doing it. So, there's people who either get paid to do this kind of thing, or there are people who are delegated to create jobs or to create some sort of initiative to make that happen, and I'm thinking, if we don't start doing that now, I know what it's like to be living here. I know, sometimes we need a kick in the butt around here to get stuff done because there are certain things that we're like, well, that's just not our problem, or that's not our job, or that's not our responsibility. But when the Olympics come around, I mean, the whole world's going to be watching live for weeks on end, and it would be a shame if most of those cutscenes had to be just the Olympics and just the, where people could see. And, it'd be nice to be able to show the Hollywood Walk of Fame to people that are watching live on camera the Olympics, that they could be, places like this could actually be something that they see, but it would be very embarrassing if there were, we already have a lot of tourism. Well, what about when the Olympics come in? I mean, we're going to get massive amounts of people coming through town. And when we have massive amount of people coming through town, how embarrassing would it be if they showed up on the streets and they're seeing what we're seeing now?
I'm so sick of him talking about the Olympics. I'm like, why? Is this all it's going to be for the next 4 years with James? Is the Olympics and killing people? Being mad, or the Olympics? What is worse? I don't know. That'll be the poll. What's worse, James? The fucking Olympics or killing people?
That we do not want that to be like how things are now. We do not want that to be what the world thinks of us. And some people will be like, shut your mouth, or you know, you got to hide, like, you know, well, it's a secret, it's a cover up. No, I'm sorry, but it's not. Like, we are to the point where the world is constantly on camera. We're about to be we're about to have the Olympics here in town. And I think it's kind of imperative that we, you know, create a better example, because after we have the Olympics, that's going to affect people's perception and viewpoint of Los Angeles for decades to come. So if we don't get our butts in gear, it's not going to be good. And, you know, I'm the guy that's willing to say it. And that's it. I mean, that's where I'm going to leave it. Some people don't like what I have to say. They're going to be like, oh, you know, shut your mouth. It's not your place to say it or whatever. Well, I live here too. You know, so I'm going to say it is we have to clean up these streets before the Olympics come in, because it's embarrassing.
Apparently.
You know, on a regular basis is embarrassing.
He's like more and more like Xavier. Dude. If he becomes more and more like Xavier, Heather might actually like him. Heather might be like, oh shit, this reminds me of Xavier with his little short shorts and all of his crazy views about the economy. He would, if Heather was in Venice instead of Daisy, like if we could just get Heather and Daisy to switch places, Xavier would like Daisy better anyways. You know? That would be a good movie. Daisy in the big city. The windy city, and then fucking Heather in Venice Beach. I wish we could make that happen.
No, we have a lifestyle. There's people out here that aren't, you know, we're helping to get housed and things like that. But we got less than 4 years to get our act together. Far better, because people are going to be coming through, even this area, in troves, you know, and they're not going to just not talk about it. We can't expect them to do what we do, where we, you know, when people need the help, we get them the help, and then whatever they're going through, we're looking the other way so they don't, you know, so we're not embarrassing them. You can't expect the whole world to do that. They're not going to do it. You know, there's going to be a lot of people who, if we don't have the streets cleaned up by the time the Olympics come in, they're going to be putting it all over the internet. They are. That's a fact. And like I said, I know people don't want to hear it, but I'm going to say it because it needs to be said. We need to clean things up. And we need to have them clean by the time the Olympics come in, because for the amount of tourists, they're bringing buses from all over the country into Los Angeles so that we have enough transportation, public transportation for people to use. So if we don't clean things up, we're going to be having thousands upon thousands of people walking through the streets of Los Angeles, walking through Hollywood here on the boulevard, seeing the dirt and the grime and everything that nobody cared about until everything was on camera. Well, you put this place on blast to the point of the Olympics. I'm sorry, man, but like, it's going to be a done deal. Like, it's going to be.
If only James cared about his own life as much as he cared about the fucking Olympics with his Olympic genes. Why doesn't he try to be like, he should do something in the Olympics? You should go try to be, I don't know, what could James do in the Olympics? What do you guys think? James doesn't really do anything. Is there a walking competition in the Olympics? A rambling competition? You could do that. He's really good at that.
A disaster. It's going to be a catastrophe. It's going to be an embarrassment. And we can't have that. You know, we have to get things cleaned up before the Olympics show up. We have to get people off the street. We got to take care of Skid Row. We got to, you know, get things clean, that we don't have everything covered in dirt and soot and grime all over the place. And who's going to do that? God knows. But I'm just going to say it probably before anyone else does. But that's how it is. You know, something's got to be done. And you don't got to shut me up. I'll just see how people react to what I have to say. And if they're not liking it, I'll stop saying it. But if there's, you know, if there's more to it than I know, then okay. But I would hate to have a whole bunch of people show up moving to Hollywood or coming through for the Olympics and have things the way that they are right now. You know, it would be a shame on our state. It'd be a shame on our county, and it'd be a shame on our country if things looked the way that they are right now. when people show up for the Olympics.
Do you think Softwood Underbelly would even want James? I mean, like, I keep forgetting. I don't know why. We're constantly reminded every day that he's in that neck of the woods. He could probably, he's there in California. How are we gonna do that? Do we want, like, James just gonna lie, and it would boost his ego. He's probably better he's not on Softwood Underbelly. He might sleep with Mark.
Because everyone's going to be taking pictures, everyone's going to be involved in the tourism, and they're not just going to come for the Olympics, they're going to come to Hollywood, especially, like we're one of the biggest tourist attractions in the world, one of the best known. Like, if you've ever heard of Bollywood, like there are places based off of Hollywood that exist in other countries just for the sake of the media industry, and there's going to be a lot of media, obviously, based around the Olympics when they show up, so we need to be ready. And that means that more so even than last year and the year before, we need to wake up and be like, wait a second. Like,
I don't even know what country the Olympics was in last time it was around, or the 4 years before that. It's every 4 years, right? The Olympics. It doesn't really, it's not going to change anything. It's going to be really busy. It might be good for business. Maybe, I don't know, sewers will overflow. Maybe a bunch of people will get like some weird fucking parasite. I don't know. It's a desert, right? There's always a drought happening. Water might be an issue with that many people. But like, James is worried about people thinking the city is dirty. I think it'll be okay. Yeah, 4 years. They can like literally wait until the last month to worry about like how the city looks for the tourists who are coming in. And it's already a touristy place. It's fucking Hollywood. It's Hollywood. Like, you're on the Walk of Fame. James is crazy.
this is our reputation, and this is how we're going to look to the entire world. And no matter how much pride we have about the accomplishments we've had over the lifetime of our experience here in this area, you know, the way that we decide to present ourselves when the Olympics show up is going to make or break our ability to gain or maintain funding, how much tour.
Daisy's live. She just told John Allgood her genitals are sacred, huh? Whoa. How long have I been live for? Like 2 hours? Yeah, when it hits like 10:33 on this thing up here, I think that's when I came on. So that'll be like what we missed. James he has not lived there a year. He's not even lived there a month. It'll be a month, like, what, on the 12th? Was it the 12th he got there? I know we got out of jail on the 9th, and I think it took him a few days to get to LA, but yeah, he hasn't even been there a month yet.
Tourism we either continue to get, or how much more we could get if we decide to clean things up, you know, and for decades to come. So if we take it seriously, even if it's annoying or not fun to have to take care of, well, at least we're ready. And if we don't, I guarantee you we are going to end up regretting it. And there's no way around it. I mean, if there's anybody in denial that we are not ready for international coverage for the Olympics, then you're in so much denial that you might as well just stay out of the conversation, because it's bad. It's really bad. And we have a lot of work to do. It's much better than it used to be, but we got a lot of work to do. And if we get that work done and we make ourselves presentable for the Olympics, then, you know, we're going to, I mean, this is our biggest chance to increase and enhance our impact on, you know, the economy as a whole in the state. Los Angeles has been falling off, but now we're cleaning up. And if we clean up more, especially from when the Olympics come around, instead of knocking us off for decades to come, it could put us on for decades to come. And
I didn't even know this. LA has hosted the Olympics multiple times. Okay, so like it's not even their first rodeo. Why is he so concerned about it? Did James know that? James didn't do his research. James thought it was a controversial take to say there should be a female Batman, which there already is. And I was like, there's Batgirl. And he's like, oh yeah, forgot about Batgirl. This guy.
I hope we decide to do that, to take things seriously and to, put the work in to be ready for when the Olympics come around. I'm sorry to tell you, but the fact of the matter is, politics, okay, let me put it this way. Our presidential election is in the history of America. But this is America, okay? It's not going to decide how things go indefinitely, all right? We are the people. We have choices. We have freedoms. And we have to make those choices instead of looking at Kamala Harris or Donald Trump and saying, you're the reason why our economy failed when the Olympics came through Los Angeles. Like, are we really going to look at one particular political figure, point a finger and say, you're the reason we suck. You're the reason we failed. Like, if you want to do that, you're welcome to move to a socialist or a totalitarian country. But here in America, the way it works is we do take accountability and we do put the work in. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. Just be ready to take the blame and the economical hit when things don't work out. And you can point that finger and say it's the president's fault or the potential president's fault. But no matter whose fault it is, you're still paying the price. And, given that we have 3.5 years, 4 years to get ready for the Olympics, it's not like we didn't know. When the Olympics do show up here and we have them, we have a choice whether to clean the streets up or say it's Kamala Harris's or Donald Trump's fault. And no matter who we blame, we're still going to pay the price. So I'd rather have something to say about it, put the work in, and if anybody invites me into that work, I'll work with them. Right now in society, and this is how it usually works, right? It's like when it's not your place, you know what to do, and then you got people whose job it is who either don't do it or don't know, or maybe they're taking care of it. But the fact of the matter is, it's my place to say something. As a citizen of Hollywood, as a citizen of Los Angeles, and of of California and of America. But it's still, there's only so much we can do, but we can do our part. And it does make a difference. When you put enough pressure in certain directions, stuff gets done. And if you care enough about our reputation as a state and our reputation as a county here in California, then you're going to be proactive with helping to figure out how to get our streets cleaned up and prepared for the Olympics. And I mean, in some ways, that's my personal viewpoint. And in some ways, that's the reality, but it's all based on what you decide to do with that information. If it's not your problem, then it's not your problem. And that's totally fine. But if you're going to tell me that, that it's not even a possibility, then then you don't understand how America works. The fact of the matter is, there's something that you could do. It doesn't mean you have to. It doesn't mean it's your place or your problem. It means that you have the freedom to choose whether or not it is your place or your problem. You can get involved or you don't have to. And one way or the other, that's fine. But the moment you start telling someone else that they have to be involved or that they can't be involved or that they shouldn't be involved, then, that's where you start to run into issues. As everyone has their viewpoint, everyone has the opportunity to voice their opinion and to choose where they stand and what they do or what you do. And you can be involved or not be involved, and that's your choice. I choose to be involved at this point on a level, my opinion, and I'm willing to back that up with action should I be invited further into the conversation, right? So as an American, I have the right to speak my mind. So I do. And if you want me more involved, all you got to do is invite me to be more involved. I'll find a way to help clean the streets up a little more for when the Olympics come around. As of right now, the furthest I'm able to go based on my involvement in this, this realm of society is to tell you how I feel and then put the phone down so I could pee. So I'll be right back. Give me 2 seconds.
I have my mic muted. So this is, I think, where we came in because James was peeing, remember? And I was like, what is he doing? And then we were like, where is he? And then his mic was off. And then it was on. And then at some point in time in the stream, I was like, I should probably stop that other recording. But that doesn't make sense to me though, because, and I'll tell you why. Actually, I think I can show you why. It says that this stream started at like 10:33. So if it was 10:24, even if it was scheduled, and like I think it was even, I think it might have been a little later than 10:33. Why? I don't know. We'll just wait until 10:33 to be on the safe side. Maybe he peed multiple times. Maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm just blind. Here, let's see. Maybe he peed for a long time. Whoops. The poop Olympics. In the poop Olympics. Okay. He comes back. The needle Olympics. The victim Olympics.
All right. Well, I don't know what else was said while I was going to the bathroom, if you guys said anything, but I'm here. And hello.
Well, you can read, right? Just read the chat.
So, you know, if you got anything to say, I'm here. My rant's over. That's how I feel. That's what I think. I've shared my viewpoint, my opinion.
Well, I wish that the rant was over because he just kept going when we came on.
Some of it's fact, some of it isn't. Some of it's statistical probability. Some of it's hearsay or viewpoint, like I said. So,
At least it's a little self-aware. You guys want some other memberships? There.
just hope that we decide
I forgot I had the 5 more.
to clean up the streets before the Olympics shows up. The Olympics show up, because this is not, like, I do not want to have to deal with the blowback that's going to come with people finding out that this is where I live should the internet catch wind.
Welcome, Holly, mainly main Sin, EA, and Eva.
Of how dirty our streets are when the Olympics come around. So a lot of people have moved out of California for those types of reasons, because of how living here with, you know, modern technology, with how much is being documented and put on the internet and how bad it makes us look. A lot of people have moved out of Hollywood and moved out of California as a whole for that reason. And I'm not going to be one of those people. So we got a lot of work to do.
We got a lot of work to do.
I missed the rant. That's fine. Yeah, that sums up what I was ranting about, is how much we need to clean up the streets before the Olympics come, so that, you know, we don't get like, I don't know about you, but I would really not like to see the federal government like step in and have to take over Los Angeles until it was cleaned up. Because once they come for Los Angeles, they're going to come for the whole state. And then before you know it, we're going to look like every other state in the nation. And we're one of the only free states left in the nation, in my opinion. Most other places, you can't just say what you want. You end up in some corrupt situation where you're getting arrested for something you didn't do. You know, and here in California, while people will complain about that, I'll tell you God's honest truth, that happens so far less often than it does anywhere else. There's just a lot of people that live here that are super spoiled that get upset when they get caught for stuff that they do. I can't say I don't do anything wrong, but I'm blessed that I'm not getting arrested or getting in trouble for anything that I haven't done. You know? And I like that. It's kind of nice to actually be free. And we're not going to let anyone take that from us. I don't care what anyone has to say. You know, we're not losing California. And eventually we are going to take our country back. And, you know, I have a feeling that how the next few years go is going to really make a difference on that. And if we stamp our feet and try to act like we got it all figured out, and we're like, you know, well, this is our, like, I know we like to protest and everything here, right? But if we decide to protest in a fashion where we look bad when the Olympics show up, well, the world stage is going to decide, and the world is much bigger than just our country, that we can no longer live the way we want. And that's going to end up being a problem. So instead of like civil uprising.
This is a really good point, Sean. Yeah, he pisses on the street he's trying to clean up. He's just angry if like there's pee around his little sleeping hole.
Or just protesting. We could decide for 5 minutes to do what we're supposed to do, get things cleaned up for the Olympics. We look good and we stay in control. It's our state. They're not going to take it from us. But the world stage may decide to side with the people who are, who have pretty much shifted and taken over most of the other states and made them these clean-cut, ugly things that we can't really do anything with or exemplify our freedoms in.
What, you mean like the states that actually arrest you for violating restraining orders and they extradite warrants and they don't let maniacs off the hook because they're so lovable, like Daisy or whatever, when she calls them bomb threats, brings guns to courthouses, they're like, oh, it's all right. We'll give you housing. You don't need to. James was right. The only thing James is right about is Daisy's like technically a domestic terrorist, or at least she's being charged as one. Like that's pretty crazy. There's been a couple things James has been like right on the nose about when it comes to crazy people. Colleen, he like saw through her bullshit pretty fast. He has a good nose for crazy people.
And this is the only place we got left, the true Americans that I've met, most of them who aren't like the biggest, the heaviest hitters and the biggest fighters that have ever existed in this nation, most of them have moved to other countries because they're not, we've lost most of our country at this point. And I don't know about you, but I'm not really interested in being part of a totalitarian regime, disguised as America. So I'm enjoying what time we got left here in this country, in California. And like I said, you could say whatever you want about my opinion, and you say, well, that's a wild thought, or like there's no possible way that things could ever go that way. Well, we felt that way about every other state in the nation, and now look at where we're at. So, and as much as it might seem like the Olympics aren't that big of a deal, whether or not we clean up for the Olympics is going to decide what this state and especially what this county looks like for the next 5 to 6 generations.
I don't think it will. I think James is overthinking this.
And I said generations, not decades. And we're going to start with decades, So like I said, if we get things cleaned up in this county, I think it could make a big difference for our future. But I guess that's just my opinion. If we don't get things cleaned up and the Olympics show up, the world stage is going to see everything that we see when we're physically here. Because they're going to be physically here, but they're going to put it on camera. And that's going to aggravate the world stage to a point where they're going to try and force us to change how we do things. And that will lead to civil war. And I don't think we're going to end up with a civil war. I think we're going to end up with people deciding to take over the country and call it America instead of actually doing anything about the problem. I don't need the next pretend cop to tell me how it is because I hang out with actual police officers. I don't need the next wannabe social justice warrior to tell me how it is because I spend time with actual change makers.
The change makers and the police officers, they really like James. He's lots of friends like that.
If you don't like how it is, you don't have to live here. But if you like how it is, then you've got to remember that here in this country, especially for how young this country is, we do sometimes have to fight for our freedoms. That does, from time to time, mean working together with law enforcement instead of against them. And if you don't like that, then I don't know.
If he leaves because of the Olympics or whatever, if he's like, I had to leave California because, they just weren't doing enough to prepare for the Olympics before the year, like even 2027, I think that's going to be hilarious. I don't know where he's going to go. He should just stay there. He'll settle in. He's got a little short shorts. He's got multiple little short shorts.
I don't know what to tell you. I'll put in the work. You don't
He's got his chanclas.
have to. You can feel however you want about me, and then whenever you continue to enjoy your freedoms, then just forget my name. I don't want to thank you after you already cut me off from that. When you've already told me no, well, I don't need a yes after a no. I'll put the work in, and then when you're ready for me, I'll have moved on already. You know? Cassandra says you can study economics at college. Yeah, it'll be a proper distraction. I will. I'm gonna get myself involved in something that pulls me out of being so far in the mix of what goes on out here, because sometimes the way I act and talk is similar to people that have made a large, civil impact that made a big difference in the world, but most of them end up being martyred in some way, shape, and form. And I plan on having a very bright and long future, so that's not gonna be me. I'll speak my piece, I'll move on with my day, and then once things start getting done, then I never talk about it again. Like when I first moved here, and I had
I think that's on the bingo card. He just needs to grow his hair out now.
a whole lot to say, and then stuff started getting done, things started changing, and I shut my mouth because something started being done about it. And people realized, they're like, okay, he's not a social justice warrior. He actually cares about the community. He's not just trying to constitute change for his own selfish reasons. And so now I'm in a similar position when it comes to the upcoming Olympics. I'm very adamant about the fact that we need to clean up the streets of Los Angeles to make sure that they're looking good and pretty for when the world shows up, because the world doesn't care.
Hold on. We're past 10:33 on the thing. So we have, this would be like when I came in, I guess around this time. So we're caught up now, because then there was like another 20 minutes that I was just like, I was here instead of ending this recording and starting the other one. So whenever he comes back, I guess I'll be back. Daisy's live. I don't know what Daisy's doing. I don't know if I have the energy for Daisy today. I gotta do some member stream. We gotta figure that out. So I'll just do that instead. I have to do some things around the house, and yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back eventually. I always am. Hopefully not on OBS. Hopefully, the Slink link. I call it the Slink link. It didn't work. There's like this weird Slink thing that I use on the browser, so we don't have to sign in to watch James live on Bigo. But I think there's some setting that he can turn on where like you can't watch him anonymously from the Slink link. So that wasn't working today. It's been working the past few times, so that's why I've been able to do it on StreamYard. But we're gonna have to switch over to this fucking stupid thing anyways. Or wait, I don't know if Melon is built into OBS or if Melon is like, I have to look more into Melon, but like probably switch over to Melon. I gotta check some things out about that. Maybe I should just learn OBS. OBS. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit, sometime again today, probably. Whoa, hold on. I always forget how to end the stream on OBS too. Okay, this is the button. All right, goodbye, guys. Goodbye.